Hi, everyone. I'm Mac Gardner, certified financial planner, author, founder, and chief education officer of Fintech. I'd like to thank you all for joining me today for a great presentation and deep dive into financial wellness. I want to thank the entire team that has put this event together for asking me to spend some time with you all today and share my thoughts on my journey to helping people manage their money and reach a good place when it comes to their relationship with their finances. So first and foremost, wanted to share with you that I am an author of two books. This is my first book titled Motivate Your Money, wrote this one for adults. And my second book is titled The Four Money Bears, wrote this one for children. Now today, the topic of the breakout session is whose dreams are you chasing? Take control of your finances and live the life you imagine. All right. So what I would like to do is to get everyone really in a mindset of the first time you interacted with money. I know it's probably been a long time since we have some grown folks here that are a part of this event, but really think about it. All right, the first time you engaged with money. And in order to do that, we're going to do a neat little exercise that I think everyone will enjoy and will appreciate. When I talk to people about money, I talk about the 3 R's, right? The 3 R's of our relationship with money. We realize, we recognize, and then we rationalize. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, that's interesting. But that actually applies to so many things in our lives. And this exercise is going to show us exactly what I mean by that. Here we have on the screen 4 pictures of people. Now, if you're looking at it, you're probably looking and saying, hey, I know a few of those folks. I realize that these are people on the screen. I even recognize a few of these people, right? So imagine you're walking down the street, you realize that these are some folks here, you recognize who they are. And once you recognize who these people are, you then begin to rationalize how you would interact or how you would engage with them, right? So let's just look at Bob Marley. I'm a huge Bob Marley fan. He is a global icon in the world of music. If I saw Bob Marley walking down the street, I'd want to ask him about his journey and his music and what his passions are and what drives him to do what he does, all right? And then if you see over there, that's the Prime Minister, Gaston Brown, the Honorable Gaston Brown. You may want to walk up to the Prime Minister and say, you know what, I have some questions about this or that or the third, all right? And then you see Jamaica Kincaid, who is a famous author from Antigua. You see Rihanna, you may want to ask questions. Now, some of these faces you may not realize, right? And so to you, your rationalization of who this person is, it may not necessarily be there because you're just not familiar. Now, that lovely lady right above Rihanna, that's my grandmother. She passed away last year, Sarah Ethel Brown, known to everybody in Antigua as Miss Etty. So if I saw this group of people walking, my eyes would turn to great grand, and I would want to spend as much time as I could just to hear her stories and what the family did and all these great things. And so this exercise is a great exercise in understanding money and how money works within our own mindset, right? And the things that we do with money. When we're young, we realize it. We realize what it is. Okay, this is money. The recognition part of it, right? There's only 4 things you can do, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. Spend it, save it, invest it, or give it away. So then, depending on how you recognize the functions of it, that then leads you to your rationalization of how to use money. All right. So I hope everyone enjoyed this little exercise. It was fun. My wife and I sat down and we were trying to think of, cool people, of recognizable people from the Caribbean, of Caribbean descent, that we can use for this exercise. Sydney Poitier, you see down there in the corner. For those of you who may or may not know, but the gentleman behind, right below the prime minister, all right, he is actually the richest Black man in the United States. And so he is, Robert Smith is his name. He gained his wealth through capital markets and venture capital. And if I were to sit down and sit with him, I would pick his brain and hear how he got on his journey. So again, realize, recognize, and rationalize is something that we need to sit down and understand when we're dealing with our money. Okay. Here we're looking at currency, the Eastern Caribbean dollar, right? And then once we realize we have money and money's come into our lives, we then need to recognize as a tool what the functions of the money are. We know we can spend it, right? We get that first job and we know we spend our money. We know that we can save it, take it to a bank, put it somewhere in a coffee can, somewhere for a rainy day, right? And typically those are the two functions of money that a lot of people really spend a lot of time on. But there's two other very important functions of money that we need to understand, because it could be very beneficial in our relationship with money and our overall financial wellness. That's the ability to invest, right? And the ability to give and to take care of others through charity. So once we realize what the money is, once we recognize what the money does, right, then we can start to rationalize. And if you look at this list, there's tons of things that we can do with money, right? There's your bank account, there's a budget, there's a car, house, land, business, all these things that are connected with money that we start to prioritize in our lives, right? And rationalize once we understand what the functions of the money are. We look at things like credit cards, we look at things like, life insurance. Do we need to protect our family? We look at buying food, we look at taxes, vacations. So there's so many things in our lives that are tied to the decisions that we make with our money. And in the research that we've done here at Fintech and that I've done in speaking with people when it comes to money, is the earlier we can understand and recognize these four functions of money, right, the better off we can be long term, because we can do things like investments, buying land, buying property, gold, precious metals. In a lot of Caribbean cultures, precious metals and gold and gems, that's a way to invest for the long term, because these are assets that appreciate over time. You have different types of accounts that you can use your money to grow. So again, the important takeaway here at this stage, right, is understanding the four functions of money, and then understanding how everything weaves into our life, so that the decisions that we make when we get that first job, when we maybe get that first raise, we're utilizing each function of money from an early point in our lives to be able to take advantage of the benefits of investing, of giving, of savings, for overall financial wellness. So one of the areas that we really like to delve into is sort of the psychology of personal finances and the relationship with money. And one of the big things that we see, I don't want to call it I could call it concern, but one of the biggest issues that we notice when it comes to financial planning or money management is that people tend to focus on the fruits, right, of what money can get and provide you, but not on the roots, right? So the roots of the money and finances is actually education, right? Is understanding those four functions, understanding the rules behind money. So what we try to get folks to do, and I did this as a financial advisor, is to get people to focus on the roots of money, not the fruits. not the shiny things that money can buy you, not the, the clothes and the cars and all the things that living in a capitalist society, or living in a commercial-based economy, we tend to look at all the pretty things and focus on that, but not necessarily focus on the root cause of how these things got there. So there's an old adage that I've heard passed around: the rich stay rich by acting poor, and the poor stay poor by acting rich. And I think a lot of that is because of the focus on what money can provide, as opposed to focusing on the root. So, I mean, the analogy is pretty simple. So if a tree doesn't have a solid root system, right, your tree could bear fruit over a short period of time, right? But over the long term, the tree will eventually, it'll die, it'll pass away. So we believe that financial education started at an early age, right, that serves as a solid root system for your financial tree. And if we take care of our money tree, as I like to call it, what will happen over time is you'll not only be able to harvest your fruits over a longer period of time, but you'll start developing an orchard, and you'll have a garden of financial trees that can not just help you, but can help your family, can help extended family, and can actually help the community. So that last point is something that I like to share and I like to bring about, and I would share this with clients when we're having meetings, is that you can't eat tomorrow what you didn't plant yesterday, right? I can't tell you how many times I sit down and doing financial planning with folks, and they're trying to retire in a few years, and they just don't have the financial assets. But you have to start planting financial seeds early, to allow them to grow, to allow your tree to prosper, and take deep root. So again, you can't eat tomorrow what you didn't plant yesterday. All right. In my first book, Motivate Your Money, I worked with people that had substantial finances. And a lot of times this is common misconception that you need to have money in order to have a financial plan. That couldn't be further from the truth. I worked with people that didn't start off wealthy. They just followed some basic steps. Sometimes they didn't even know they were doing it, but they followed these 5 steps to financial success is what I call it. And this is really the backbone of the Motivate Your Money book. And it's really the backbone and the story and the map to starting off your financial journey with money, and then over time really accumulating some wealth that can not only take care of you, but can take care of other generations. So the 5 steps to financial success, step 1 is to plan accordingly. And here's what I mean. Set a budget, right? So many times people really are just flying by the seat of their pants when it comes to their finances. You need to be keenly aware of every dollar that's coming into your account, and every dollar that's going out, and understanding that you need to have some sort of plan for whatever your goal is. If your goal is to buy a car, or to buy a home, or to save X amount of dollars over time, or to invest into a piece of land, or to give to some charity or some church or something, you got to have a plan. So it's important to start off your 5 steps of financial success by having some sort of budget, or creating a financial plan. Next is to spend cautiously. I did a recent interview for an article with CNBC, and one of the questions they had is, Mac, you're working with kids and you're promoting financial literacy. What do you see as actually the first habit that a child picks up? And interestingly enough, the first habit that a child picks up, or person picks up, was as they're growing up, is their parents' spending habit, right? So spend cautiously. Be very aware, again, of how much money is coming in, and make sure you spend less than you're bringing in, right? And make that a habit. When you're going shopping, look at different things on the store and say, okay, you know what, is this a better buy? Is that a better buy? Just be be keenly aware of your power of the tool that is money, and how it's going out and how it's being spent. So then once you've got to spend cautiously, the next step is to save diligently. So making this a routine part of your financial habits. My three kids were here. They'd say, yes, Papa, yes, we know habits, behaviors, traits. Good financial habits lead to good financial behaviors, lead to good financial traits. And so that's what we're wanting to do here is from a very early age, spend diligently, making sure you're putting away 10, 15, 20%, whatever of your earnings, and you're putting that away. Make that a habit. Great books out there. There's a book called The Richest Man in Babylon, and he talks about spending 10% of every dollar you've ever earned. And if you do that starting from the first dollar, amazing things can happen over time. The next step is to invest wisely, and investing can take on so many forms. Here in the States, folks have retirement plans. There's the market. There's different ways you can invest in stocks, bonds, ETF, mutual funds, so on and so forth. But investing could be investing in a business. If you start a business, that's an investment. It's an investment because owning and running a business involves something called risk, because there's a chance that business venture could do very, very well, or there's a chance that the business could not do well and fall flat. So it's important to invest wisely. It's important that if you're planning on opening a business, having resources like accountants and attorneys or folks that you can bounce ideas off of, you can turn to get good advice and good guidance. Because investing can be risky, and there's a chance that the money and resources and energy that you put into this venture, it could do very, very well, but it also could fail. So there's things like land. Land is a good long-term investment. Gold, annuities, cash value, life insurance. Those are ways to invest. And the biggest difference between saving and investing, again, is the aspect of risk, right? So putting money in the bank, a year from now, it'll be whatever you put in. If you invest it, it could be more, it could be less. And then I put it last on my list, but it doesn't necessarily have to be last, is to give generously. And the reason why I put it last is because if you don't spend cautiously, right, and you spend all your money, you won't have anything to save, right? And if you don't have anything to save, then you don't have anything, the disposable income to invest. And if you don't have anything to save or invest, it's hard to give, right? So that's why we put it last on the list. Not saying that you shouldn't give before that, before saving or investing, but if there's an opportunity for you to give back to an organization, give back to your community, give back to a church, to family, make that a part of your habits and the overall financial journey that you're on. To give back and make sure that the young people in your life see the importance of doing that. All right. Financial times are changing. This is something that I'm seeing a lot of. My company, Fintech, we are working to build a bridge between financial literacy and financial technology because we acknowledge that times are changing. Gone are the times where you save cash in a box at home or in a can somewhere, and you go places and you just use money for your purchases. Gone are the days where you throw a box as a way to for the community to have money for large major purchases. You save your money to buy a car, you save your money to buy land, you save money to build a home. You pay off the bank at some point in time to own your home, and then you're just living on Social Security in retirement. That is, I don't want to say an antiquated way, but it's an older way of how finances worked, and the sort of journey that people lived when dealing with their money. Now, you're saving money in a bank, CD, money market. Now folks are using cards, debit cards, credit cards. People are doing a lot more travel. They're traveling to USA, UK, they're going to Asia, they're going different places for education. People are saving for a down payment on an existing home, and they're using debt a lot more today than they may have in the past. Folks are investing in businesses and rental properties, insurance property, cryptocurrency. All these different things are being utilized in this day and age that may not have been utilized in the past. So the internet is allowing us to connect to new global opportunities through social media and technology. People are now relying on several streams of income as opposed to just one job. And you're in that job for 20, 30, 40 years. And here's the other thing: people are living a much longer lifestyle, and much longer life, and a much different lifestyle. So with all these different things that are going on, technology is not going anywhere, right? Technology is here, and it is literally shaping the future. So I wanted to take a few minutes just to talk about some of the things that we're seeing here that are going to be disruptors, that are going to change the way we deal with our money, right? And the first thing is fintech. So here at Fintech, we're actually developing a game called the For Money Bears Berryville. And what it is a financial literacy game that is created for children as early as age 5, right? So there was a Cambridge study that was done that shows that a child's connectivity with money actually starts by age 7. So what we did is we built a game that allows a child to understand entrepreneurialism. So you're going to own a berry farm, you're going to run the berry stand. And then once you do get that money, we're going to have quizzes and quests that help the child understand the money management aspect of it. And we're also working on a multimedia financial education platform called Motivate Your Money. So gone are the days where, you have to rely on a school teacher, or you have to rely on, some other resource to teach you about money. There are apps and platforms being developed right now to help teach people about their money in a new, fun, even gamified way. The other aspect is social media. A lot of the folks in this audience are in the Caribbean and Antigua. Social media is a game changer. It's allowing people to reach, folks like they couldn't before. But in doing that, is also allowing for folks to be able to monetize, right, whatever it is that they have, and grow their business in ways that they've never seen. So you have YouTube channels, Facebook, you have Instagram. Those are definite game changers. And I'll say there's a pro and con to the social media platform when it comes to money and money management. We've seen a proliferation of people that are posting and creating these personas on social media is about being financial experts. You have to be really wary about that stuff. Just because a person can build a bright, shiny video and make some cool graphics doesn't make them a financial expert. So though social media is opening things up for a lot of people, you also have to be very, very guarded about where you're getting your information from when it comes to money and money management, because there's really a bunch of stuff out there. So, and then the last one is cryptocurrency. This is definitely a game changer. We are seeing how the Bitcoin and Ethereum started off 10, 15 years ago as this, way to buy things in a black market. And, it was this currency that was used by people in nefarious ways. And now what we're seeing is that it is becoming a way or means of commerce through blockchain technology, right? And so what a lot of economies are seeing is that this is something that's not going away. And in fact, it's allowing for people to transact business, ethical business, but also introduce new ways in order for this business to be done. And so we are developing, just as an example, we've developed a bear buck cryptocurrency that we are thinking about utilizing in our For Money Bears app as a means for the people who are playing it to purchase things and purchase items in this virtual space, and then to be able to convert those bear bucks into, you know, whatever currency or whatever coin that's out there. So blockchain technology and cryptocurrency, again, is not going anywhere. For those of you who are interested, and we get a lot of questions about this space, it is a very volatile investment vehicle. Don't go into this thinking that you're going to get rich quick. Don't jump into NFTs because it's the hottest thing and someone said that, hey, I could make a couple $100,000. There are way more people out there losing money and not making money in NFTs than there are folks that are becoming millionaires overnight. So just be very aware of it. It is a technology, and it is also a means through DeFi or decentralized finance to enact financial transactions, right? But there are tons of cryptocurrencies that are out there right now, and they're more being developed. Just do your due diligence and be wary of what's out there. All right. Last thing I want to share, and I think we're coming up on our time, is my Mac nuggets. So my Mac nuggets are just little phrases that I've come up with that I hear and I share with people to allow them to understand sort of the mind of Mac. But people care what you look like. People care what you sound like. People care where you're from. Money does not. Money is simply a tool. Sooner in life we learn how to use this tool, the better off you will be later in life. All right. So that's really all money is. It's a tool. It's a means for us to be able to reach certain goals and reach certain things that we have in our life. Don't make it any more than that. But the sooner you learn how to utilize it and understand the power behind that tool, right, the better off you will be. Thank you all so much for your time. I really enjoy sharing my thoughts with you all. As I like to say, the journey continues. The financial life journey is a long one. What I've put up here are just websites to be able to access my book, my books. You can buy them on Amazon if you so choose. And then my website, Finlit Tech, is where you can learn a little bit more about us and our mission to build a bridge between financial literacy and financial technology. So thanks again for the time, and enjoy the rest of the event.